everybody. Welcome to the Red Barn, aka Tilly the RV. I did not come live yesterday. It got like crazy. We are in the midst of, obviously, this house reno if you've been following me a while. Well, turns out we got a roof leak and we had to have a new roof replaced. So we had to pack up the RV because we've got contractors coming. I'm actually sitting on the side of the road right now and my laptop's on my lap, hence the reason it's kind of jiggly. But yeah, the roofers just called and said we've got a moment now so we can bring in our stuff and get started today, finish up tomorrow. So I'm very grateful for that. But the funny thing is, I have a dry run of a presentation coming up at noon today. And so I had to call the people. I'm like, listen, I got roofers coming and it's going to be crazy loud. And my Wi-Fi is not great in the RV because I'm on the side of the road. But you know what? It is what it is. Life is an adventure. And you just have to kind of go with the flow, right? You can't freak out over every little thing. And yes, I do have makeup and like real clothes on today. So I'm feeling very human and cool. Anyway, so today I want to kind of recap yesterday's email, and the title of it was Dirty Little Liars. And it's all about, I can't really, again, I have to give credit to my coach, PK Smith, for the term, the dirty little liar thing. But because he calls me out on this a lot, and it's really about, I'm a huge proponent of mindset, and what you put forth, you attract, and what you say happens. And the reality is, and the psychology behind it is, your brain can't distinguish between right and wrong for what you say. So if you say, I can't do something, I can't do something, I can't do something all the time, eventually your brain is just going to believe it. And you're being a dirty little liar to yourself. So I have this dry run that I'm doing at noon today. I am actually presenting to the Women in Banking group for the Connecticut Bankers Association next Friday. And I'm talking about the power of personal branding and showing up as your true authentic self. This is something that I can talk about in my sleep. I'm super passionate about it. Like, you can see the smile on my face. Like, I preach this all day long. And I usually do this presentation live in front. I've done it in front of 10 people. I've done it in front of 1,000 people. And I get energy from the people in the room. And sometimes I'll have like a PowerPoint, but it's behind me and it's really just my talking points. Last year, I was supposed to do this live and they canceled it. And they asked me to come back this year and they were doing it virtually. I have anxiety about doing this presentation virtually. I started getting in my head, like, everybody's zoomed out. People are going to be like, oh, and I'm the last speaker of the day. It's after lunch. So people are going to be like, enough already. They've been sitting looking at stuff all day long. Well, I'm not going to be engaging enough. And people are going to be thinking about what's for dinner. They're not going to be focused on me, blah, 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 blah. It was crazy. And so I built this up in my head that my presentation was going to suck. I'm like, good Lord, McFly, like, face plant, smack, smack, smack. Like, what the hell am I doing? So I actually went in the house yesterday and I did my whole presentation, came out to be 90 minutes. And I went back and I looked at it today and I didn't like it. I was being super critical of myself. And I started with this whole dirty little liar thing again. It's like, oh, and I'm like, Cindy, the reality is I was standing in the kitchen of the reno house and I had sawdust all over me. I wasn't in my vibe. And, I was doing the presentation. Dave came in a couple times. I had to stop. I had to stop and read some text messages. So it just wasn't the same as if I'm going to be doing it live and people are going to be there. So again, of course, it's not going to be exactly how I want it to be because it's not real. It's not going to be I'm not going to have the energy of the people. So I was actually saying, hey, drop in the chat if, and hey, give me a 1 if you blah, 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 blah. And oh, now we're going to break out into breakout rooms and oh, we're back. And it was too hard to do that. And so my energy I was kind of going through the motions, and it was just weird to go back and watch 90 minutes of me talking as if I was in front of a couple hundred people and I wasn't. So the long short of it is, be really careful about what you say to yourself, because if you say you can, and you will. If you say you can't, you won't. So that's my big lesson. I have to call myself out on that a lot. And I know that the presentation is going to be fine. We're meeting in a few minutes to kind of go through the dry run and get all the logistics, and I'm really excited about it. And these are my people. These are women bankers, people that are, there's going to be several of my clients there, which is going to give me lots of great energy. And this is a topic that I talk about all the time. It is my jam. It is my purpose. It is my thing. So, anyway, I just wanted to let you know that even people that coach about things like this all the time have to practice. They have to do the do. Lesson for the day, sitting on the side of the road, waiting for the roofers to come rip the roof off my house. So we don't have rain anymore. And how we noticed it is like Dave, there's a huge cathedral ceiling, and I spent all last weekend painting trim, and my back was starting to bother me because I was just standing and my knee was hurting me. So I laid down on the ground and I'm looking up at the ceiling and I'm like, oh my God, Dave, I see water up there. And then he looked up and he's like, oh my God, like you could see this big stain mark. So he got up there and sure enough, the roof was wet. And so we had the contractor come out, they got up on the roof and they're like, yeah, gotta have a new roof. So just another expense in the money pit reno project. That seems like it's never going to end. And so, the plan was the kids are going to move in on May 1st. Not really sure that's going to happen now, but we're going to do our best to, try to wrap things up this weekend and see what happens. Anyway, have an awesome day. Bye.